my assessment of it, of the rulings put together, is that there is no declaration of a victor or a vanquished party. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yes, because...
How do you mean? Because, I mean, if all 9 appeals were there, and the Turaki faction lost all 9,
yes,
isn't that to say that, look, whether you go to the Supreme Court or not, it's out of your hands now?
It's not a matter of going to the Supreme Court. None of the parties was, as it is today, is vested with leadership of the party. None of the parties that went to court.
Politically or legally?
Legally, none of the parties is vested. You need to read through the lines, you need to get copies of... I was in court, and I listened very carefully to the judgment of their lordships. You'll find out that here and there, yes, they said that going to Ibadan was wrong, right? So it nullified from the point of the first judgment, the activities of events that happened in Ibadan. What was the crux of the matter in Omotosho's judgment? Omotosho's judgment was to say, don't conduct Congress until you do A, B, C. It's not about vesting leadership in A or B.
Yeah, but they violated it and went ahead.
They violated it, and that is what the Court of Appeal had ruled upon and said, oh, you shouldn't have done that. I do understand. That's why I'm saying that, look, the totality of the decisions of yesterday did not produce a leadership for the party.
Okay. What do you think? Do you agree with that?
No. And I understand where my brother is coming from. You know, I'm sorry, but the truth of the matter is that politically, people will just hold on to anything you can hold on to. In fact, there's a school of thought, even though a person from their side yesterday who was talking about since the court acknowledged suspension of the legal advisor, there's nothing that exists. And it was a preliminary objection to legal representation. And the court said that period, you're under suspension for 30 days. So you cannot question Chris Uchi as a legal advisor. However, if Ibadan does not exist in the law, nature avoid back vacuum. There is a high court judgment, sisters that had not been vacated. They went to court in Ibadan, federal high court in Ibadan, to ask for what you call the order of mandamus, lawyers, I'm not a lawyer, to compel the court to tell INEC to recognize Ibadan Convention. And that court, in its wisdom, when it was joined, because the other party now joined and make sure that too, I won't be absent on this seat of judgment. The court now look at the whole matter and say, no, this Ibadan, purely contradictory the law, does not exist. However, nature avoid vacuum, there's a caretaker committee that has been set up and now order INEC to recognize that caretaker committee. If a court has given instruction, an order for INEC to recognize a leadership, they say it doesn't exist. So yes, you have an appeal against it that's coming up on Wednesday.
Correct.
Until that appeal is dispelled with, as of today.
The status quo remains.
As of today.
No.
So the idea of
I beg to differ. I beg to differ in the sense that the judgment of the High Court in Ibadan was wrought with a lot of irregularities.
So it was a judgment.
Can I say?
Yes, I was.
Like you rightly acknowledged, the matter is on appeal, is coming up on Wednesday. The issues that were canvassed in Ibadan did not call for pronouncement as to
but let's get something correct.
Yes.
If you say the judgment was fraught with a lot of irregularities,
let me
does that then
let
mean...
me land.
Okay.
Let me land. You know, when you talk about the issue of caretaker committee, the court saying that there's a caretaker committee, the system of nature avoids a vacuum, the constitution of our party has a channel for setting up of caretaker committee.
Yeah, before you go to that part, I'm talking about the judgments.
Yeah.